Hello and welcome to today's Codebook tutorial. In today's tutorial we're going to be talking about the equipment library, the required equipment list and placement of FF&E items in Revit. Firstly, we're going to start with the equipment library viewer. The library viewer can be accessed from the Home tab and Library Viewer. The library viewer contains a list of all items of equipment associated with this Codebook project. We can see basic information such as its group, classification, code, description, height, depth and fixed height. There is additional information on the Detail tab, as each item has 4 unique equipment codes, unit costs, base cost, we can see its service interval requirements, purchase information, facilities information, extended description and revision information. On the left hand side we have a list of all of the components. We can filter that list quickly by typing in the yellow section. If I was searching for a CHA or chair, we can see that it filters the list for all of our chairs in this equipment library. I can also filter the description. So we can see we only have the adjustable chairs now, and I can filter the group and classification. I can also do a quick find, and I can use wildcards in this instance. And see that Codebook's finding all of the desks. Or I can use the option to find with query. And this gives us more advanced searching options. So we can see now that Codebook has filtered out and found all of the desks. Okay, so that details finding items of equipment under the component section. We also have unions and assemblies. The search function works exactly the same for components, unions and assemblies. It's important to understand the difference between a component, which is linked to a singular Revit family, AutoCAD graphic, MicroStation graphic. A union, which is a static grouping of components, such as a sink with a soap dispenser, a hand washing station for instance. So we have one singular graphic and components referencing that graphic in the Codebook database. So we have these components associated with this one union which has one graphic or a grouping of families. Assemblies, in this instance, are being used primarily to record room layouts and a list of components within that layout. Moving on to the required equipment list, if I go to my Project Explorer and find my quiet room, I'm going to right click and select my required equipment list. We can see that every room has a listing of required equipment. To populate this list, we simply need to find our components, search for it using one of the shown methods, and then we can drag and drop that into our required equipment list. Once we have a component in our list, we can right click, we can find the item, we can edit the item, we can increase the quantity or replace with, we can omit or remove. The reason we have a required equipment list is primarily for validation, so we know what should be in the room via the required equipment list. We can also right click, place into BIM a selected item or all items. If I were to choose the option for selected items, we can see that I'm handed over to Revit now, where Codebook's found that family and I can insert it. Once we have placed our components into the Revit model from the required equipment list, our next step is to actually update the designed FF&E lists. So if I right click on my quiet room, I should have the option to update my designed FF&E lists. So CodeBook's actually going to scan the Revit model now and validate back to us what we've actually placed in the Revit model versus what we have in our required equipment list. As CodeBook's updating, it's found some families in this Revit model that we do not have associated within the CodeBook library as of yet. We're going to ignore this for the time being, so we're going to click Continue. So CodeBook has now updated the designed equipment list for this room. So we right click Room Editor and go to the designed list, and we can see what we actually have placed in this room. We can now right click on a component and highlight the position of that selected family. So once we have a requirement for our room and we can see what we have placed in a Revit model, we can select the comparison option to see how our design matches our requirements. So we can see that I'm missing 2 outlets and I'm missing 1 chest dresser. We can place these items into BIM and then revalidate this required versus designed. Updating a single room is very handy if we only have a few rooms to do. However, if we have a department or want to update the entire model, we need to select the Home tab and choose the option Synchronize FF&E lists. This will load a Synchronize FF&E form to which we can select Architecture or MEP. We can select our source. If we want to localize this just to a department, we can choose a department. There are various search options and phasing information. We're going to leave this as set up already and just choose the option to update the FF&E lists. So CodeBook's going to go away now and scan the entire model for all of the FF&E. That concludes this short tutorial. If you have any questions, please contact support@codebookinternational.com. Thank you.